Your heart is deceitful. Okay? God knows the desires of your heart. Stop thinking that humans do. Humans, we don't have that ability. Humans, me and you, we're supposed to trust exactly what a person does. Don't search for the desires of a person's heart. That's God's job. I done told you something, or he done promised you something, and you thinking about throwing the towel in when it get hard, when your money not looking right, when your body hurting, when everybody getting on your nerves, when you emotional, when you ain't get good test results at the doctor's office, when that whatever didn't fall through, if you thinking about throwing the towel in right then, like me, like right now, man, I feel like God playing in my face. I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like God playing in my face.
So today with us on Stool Talk, we're honored to have a special guest. Here on Stool Talk, we walk in our purpose on purpose, and today's guest is definitely doing that. She's a great creative, a great woman of knowledge, wisdom, faith, and what struck me by her is her content. It wasn't like the normal one. It wasn't like what everybody's doing, the familiar. It was the realness. It was the pureness. It was the fruit in what she was saying. She's definitely allowing her purpose to be shown through her and through what she's doing. Today we have with us the one, the only, the creative, the multifaceted, the woman of many hats, Miss Promise Israel. How you doing today?
Listen, what a great introduction. You know, way to get me blushing. Yeah, thank you for that. That was a great introduction.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
just
happy
like
to be here.
yeah, just like we talked on screen, that's what stuck out is the content because it wasn't like regular, it was real. It was like, listen, you telling them, you giving them fruit. So the seeds that you sowing is helping people. So it's for them to grab different nuggets. Then, as I do my research, I'm like, man, she does this, she does this, she does that, but she's still pouring into people, and that's
Yeah.
what is amazing by you can judge a person by the fruit, and your fruit is definitely bearing, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate you and your work and what you're doing because it's needed right now.
Yes, and I appreciate you saying what you just said as far as me sowing seeds and the fruit being good. I'm a believer. I'm always talking about Jesus and, being good fruit. So to
Yeah.
hear somebody say that about my content makes me feel really, really good. And it's confirmation. And like I said, thank you. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels as a content creator, influencer, and all of the other things that I do when I'm in a leadership position, it seems as if bad fruit overshadows good fruit. Bad people overshadow good people. Bad explicit content overshadows modest content. So it's like, sometimes when you are really focused on being good fruit,
Yeah.
you could get discouraged. So I'm thankful that you said that you recognize that.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want you to get discouraged, the same as me and many of the other people that's watching this that's out here because people say controversy sells and they want the negativity. They want people to be drawn towards the negative, drawn towards the different things that's not helping them grow, that's not productive. So at the end of the day, it's stagnant. But what you're doing is for specific people that God is pushing towards you that's gonna hear that need that, because all it takes is one person to be able to hear something you're saying. All it takes is one person to be able to be going through something to say, man, I just heard this real from Promise, man, and it just touched me. So those people that's supposed to hear what God is giving, because that's what's happening. God is giving you spiritual downloads, giving you the wisdom and the tools to be equipped to say, what's needed to be said. So the people that get it is gonna get it. And what I've learned is try not to get caught up in the numbers and all this because sometimes we be like, man, I wonder is it really getting out there? I wonder is it really,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
am I doing, Lord? We kind of wonder about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that's a thought that goes on in my head every day, every time I post a video, because it's easy for your flesh to get caught up in the numbers, in the likes, the views, the shares, the comments. And I encourage people all the time, especially when I'm coaching, doing coaching calls and just helping people create content as well. I'm always telling them, don't focus on the numbers. Like, fall in love with creating content, fall in love with your purpose. Everybody got a different purpose on the internet.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Again, you just said something else that I believe in, I stand on, and I'm glad someone else. I'm glad that we're starting off equally yoked.
Yes, 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 definitely. And for those who may not know you, how would you describe you? Like, what would someone might not know or might not understand in you, your vision for what you're doing and what you want and what you're trying to do?
Um, I'm just trying to process the question. It was a long question. That was a long question. Um, let's ask one more time. Let,
Okay.
let, let, let me hear it
So,
one more time.
so for people that might not understand you, what do you want your work or your content to stand for, and what do
Boom.
you want people to get out of that?
So I'm all about accountability, So when you come to my platform, I'm always promoting self accountability because we live in a world that projects, we live in a world that blames, we live in a world that's pointing the finger at the next person. And, of course, I think we all kind of had it in us to blame. I mean, think about the story of Adam and Eve. They started it all, and it started with blaming, right? Eve blamed the serpent, Adam blamed Eve and God. So it's like blaming was here from the beginning. But
Yeah.
imagine if we took a step back and thought about what we can do differently in these situations. So when you think of Promise Israel, my main mission is to promote accountability. Yeah, you did this, but this is what I did. Or this is how self accountability. It's all about your response,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. Um, what steps could you think people could can try to strive towards having self accountability? Because you hit the nail right on the head by saying that a lot of times people is pointing the blame and they're letting their triggers, things that they've been hurt by, trauma in their life, cause them not to take accountability in themselves, but to point the blame because it's woe me syndrome. Woe me, oh, I've been through this. And like you said,
Yeah.
yeah, so what you think they could do?
I mean, first of all, just get real with yourself. We're living in a world where people are just in denial. They
Yeah.
kind of, I like to call it drinking delusional juice. They just delusional about their reality. This is fresh strawberry and lemonade, by the way, just to let y'all know. I want y'all to think I'm drinking that crazy. But people just got to get real with themselves. Like, look in the mirror and really sit with who you are as a person. When you think about people who are struggling with addiction, and when you think about going to an AA meeting. Not that I've ever been, but of course we all understand the concept of AA, and it's really acceptance. Like, my name is Promise, and I'm a whatever you're dealing with. You
Yeah.
gotta say that. You gotta get real with that. You gotta face that demon. So, in order to really become a person that's focused on being accountable for their actions, you gotta know who you are. What are your weaknesses?
Yeah.
You know, what are your behaviors? So
Yeah.
that's a good
And
question.
yeah, and I believe once that happened, they don't know that that would just unravel so many layers that they got off themselves, and it will be able to start growth. And once you are aware and you assess your situation and you look that person in the mirror and said, "This is what I do," that's when the growth starts.
That's
That
when the growth starts. Yes. Great point.
definitely, definitely.
Great point. Do you mind if I ask you that question? I would like to
Yeah,
hear, what
go
you have
ahead.
to say about that. Coming
Yeah.
from a male, a man's perspective. And by the way, I want to also say I love what you're doing. To have a platform that's promoting positivity, you could just be ordinary. You could be promoting a lot of immoral stuff. And I like that you're choosing to be a good man. That's what I would call you. I don't even know you, but just to be on a positive wave,
Yeah.
that's good. So I would like to know, your answer coming from a male perspective.
And I would say from a male maturity, getting it, the why, wanting to know what my purpose is, wanting to know what's out there for me, wanting, God to do so much more. I had to look, and this is even a personal kind of testimony to me. I had to look at myself because a lot of times people and different things come around you, but what am I doing to stay guarded? What am I doing to stay strengthened? Am I in my word? When the enemy comes to attack, Am I on my scripture? Am I praying enough? Am I around the right people? Is all this stuff happening because I'm not supposed to be, around these people? I'm not supposed to doing that. Do God got something else for my life? Is that why I'm going through this? What is the things? But knowing that only thing can change my situation is me.
Yeah.
So if I'm not taking any accountability to make change, because they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing multiple times and expecting the same results. Like you can't do that. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror. So sometimes as men, our pride get in the way. Sometimes as men, we worry about what people think. So we're not going to do the work knowing that it's work needed because we feel emotions and feelings, it don't really matter. But the devil is a liar. A man can be emotional. You can control your emotions. You don't have to be masculine. You don't have to, push off blame and try to take the control or take the head of a situation or a thing because of, you being a man. You have to be aware. Like you said,
Yeah.
self-awareness. Awareness comes when you deal with self.
Yeah. Okay. I'm digging
Yeah. So, how has your faith shaped you in this journey, as being a speaker, being an influencer, and just all the things that you have going on?
Man, my faith, believing in Jesus Christ wholeheartedly is the best decision I could have ever made. And I think the only way you can really test your faith is when you become an adult and you actually start understanding what it means to repent. You actually start understanding the character of Jesus Christ, and you actually understand what faith is. Because as an adult, you're put in situations where your faith really does have to be at a certain standard because you no longer have your parents taking care of your issues. This is on you now. You're an adult. So my faith has been the center of everything. Even when I'm gonna be honest, even when I was sick in the head, because I say that a lot. When I was a lukewarm follower,
Yeah.
one foot in, one foot out, I call that being sick in the head. Even when I was like that, I knew Jesus, but it was like, dang, I felt conviction, but it was like when you kind of sick in the head, you be sick for a season. You don't really know how to come up out of it. So my faith was always there. But as I got older and as I just started realizing, okay, I've done it this way all of this time. Let me try something new. You
Mhm.
know, let me lean on something new. And so my faith has been everything. Like, y'all better get a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all better get a relationship with Jesus because it's really it's a good feeling. It's a good relationship to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can, us as content creators or us that's mentors or, people that coach or people that, even fellowship with people, what can we do, to be able to allow people to see the fruit? Because a lot of times people hear about God, they hear about different things, and once again their trauma experiences, or they're going off what people said, or one bad person may have did something, but that's not everybody because man is not perfect. So what could we do to allow them to see what God do, for they can get their own relationship for themselves? Because I think that's ultimately the best thing. Have your own relationship with God and judge it off that, not other people. So what can we do to allow people to see that what you said, how good God is and what he can do for their life?
People who are true believers need to focus on representing Jesus in the best way they know how. So a lot of times, and I don't necessarily want to say Christians and it, all of the religion is like we're not talking about that. So I don't really want to name religions. I just want to say people who follow Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is like that's as plain as I can put it. So wherever you fall with that, you have to wake up every morning and you have to be determined to represent him in the best way possible because someone is going to see you. So now we're living in a social media world, like you said, content creators and stuff like that. A lot of people are meeting. You and I met through content.
Yeah.
So you also have to treat your online behavior as a representation of Jesus Christ. And even if, like I said, I used to post strange stuff on the internet. I was in the wilderness. Don't 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 start following Jesus and then get afraid to really commit to him by changing your behaviors, strictly based off the fact that, oh, this person knew I used to do this, or this person, oh, they go think I'm being, man, forget everybody. You got to be on some, I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, and this is how I want to represent him. Now, we're all different, and we're all going to have different personalities and different ways to represent him. But you got to make sure that you're understanding his character, his word, his commandments. And just like I said, when you wake up, when your feet hit the ground, okay, I'm representing you, Jesus. How I'm gonna do it?
Yeah.
How am I gonna do it? You cannot misrepresent Jesus by your outer appearance being a certain way and your inner posture being totally opposite, because people will see through it.
Yeah.
So just, really, really get grounded and allow God to reveal to you who you really are in his eyes. I knew who Promise was when Promise was doing it her way, right? And I had to just start seeing myself in a different way. And that's not changing your clothes. That's going to come. That's changing your heart,
Yeah.
changing your character. So yeah, for sure.
When you just said that, it made me think of how a lot of times we want it to be done how we want it. We want to know what it's gonna look like. But, in the Bible, how it says, not our will, but his will be done, because his will supersedes, because he knows what's best for us. If only we knew, we might know what we need and think that is, but if that ain't what he want for us, then we running in circles trying to chase something that's not even there. Have you ever had a moment of doubt, like in walking and in your calling? Like, have you ever had anything that kind of had you to where you're second guessing it, or you wasn't all the way confident in what you were doing and what was going on?
Yes, I mean, I'm having it right now. I'm very nervous doing this interview. That's my flesh, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of being overly critical about how I look right now. That's my flesh, though. Doubting how this is really going to go, that's just flesh. So, anytime you're doing something and it's in his will, it's going to make you feel a little uncomfortable. So, of course, that feeling of doubt is going to be there. But I'll just say, as an adult, you got to pick, like, are you gonna sink or swim? Are you gonna really let that doubting feeling overcome you and overcome your opportunities, or overshadow, maybe that's the better word? Or are you gonna like push past that little feeling of being uncomfortable and go with it?
Yeah.
So when you decide to go with it, when you decide to say, yeah, I'm feeling a little weird about this, but I'm gonna do it, when you do that, you really just gotta go with it. You got to figure out, like, people say, oh, you so confident. Well, people are not born confident. That's something you have to practice.
Yeah.
You just got to say, you got to carry yourself in a certain way. Because everyone is not on the internet talking. So I can't just say you got to say stuff a certain way and you got to do stuff a certain way, because confidence is an inner thing. But doubt is normal. If a person tell you they not down, or they don't have a little feeling of like fear, or your tummy kind of rumbling when you're about to do something, they probably lying.
All right.
They probably lying. I'm a sports official. Every time I take the court, I don't care what level it is. I'm feeling a little. Whew,
Yeah.
I got to go out here and perform for these folks, because that's what it is. Everyone should wake up and think about, okay, somebody go see me today. So I'm not saying perform in a way where you're not being yourself. I'm saying you better think about it like, whoever you uh whatever person you decide to give to the world, it's a possibility that could be good for your future or detrimental for your future. Every
Yeah.
time you look up, you got folks recording. I mean, you could just be going to the store. You going to the store looking crazy. Somebody got you on camera. That ain't even what you in there for.
Right.
But just to give you an example, why are you in the store looking like that? This is still a public place. So, uh yeah, doubt is real, and pushing through it is real.
Yeah.
Sink or swim, make a choice.
Yeah, man. I get that too during interviews, being nervous, a little having that little feeling inside. But what I love about it is still lets me be humble to know I still need to trust in God. You know,
Yes,
no,
that's a perfect way to put
yeah,
it.
it's not my will. Like, Lord, I'm want you to, decrease so he can increase inside me, because I don't want to be doing it all. And then now my pride, because like you said, this flesh is something else. Now my pride, now I'm arrogant, now I'm feeling like, yeah, this is me doing this and all like that. No, I want you to use me. I want to be a vessel that you use me to, be seen, to say what I need to say, and even be shown, because it's by your will, by your grace, that I'm even allowed to be able to be in this arena doing it, and being able to help others too, different things like
Yeah,
that. And that,
I love what you just said. I
yeah,
love what you just said. Totally agree.
yeah.
Totally agree.
What does purpose mean to you?
Um, purpose. Dang. I think true purpose, is when you have an understanding of where God is taking you. So, and I wanted to take a moment and say that because a lot of times people think that their purpose is something that they're good at. Like, I was a good athlete, so I probably think my purpose is in athletics or something like that. That's just something you good at. Your purpose, that's something that God is calling you to do. You're able to do other things, but it's something that God is calling you to do. And I think your purpose is something that's revealed. Your true purpose is revealed through having that, I say, vertical relationship with God. you know Before I was totally in a relationship with God, I thought my purpose was to be a volleyball coach or a school teacher. People think of those things as being their purpose because they think of purpose as a way to earn a living or your livelihood. And your purpose is what you do when you don't need no money to motivate you to do this.
Yeah,
It's something that is truly in you. It's something that's eating at you. Um, and I mean, I don't think it's no purpose that's big or small, but a purpose is something that is revealed through just knowing who God has called you to be.
yeah. And how can others be able to go after their purpose?
Get a relationship with God. Get a relationship with Jesus Christ. How do you do that? You can't sit around and say, well, I'm spiritual, but I don't go to church. Do not forsake the assembly. You need to go to church. A lot of people, they want to say, and then people say, we are the church. We are. If you really believe that you is the church, think about how you represent yourself as the church every single day. If people actually thought about that, they probably wouldn't say that they are the church, because that's not how a church should be represented.
Right.
Church is that's his wife. That's Jesus' wife. So it's like, go to church, man. Go to church, figure out how to really have a relationship with Jesus. And don't go to church just for religious reasons.
Yeah,
It's good to have a community of people, but what is your relationship with him when there's no one around? And that's the only way you can find out what your true purpose is. It's a lot of confused people in the world. You hear people say, I don't really know what I should be doing. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next, because you're not seeking God. If you were seeking God every day or every second of the day, he'll be revealing something new to you. And then, because life is like a puzzle, right? Think about when we was kids, we used to we used to do the puzzles. Every time you look up, you putting another piece on the puzzle to complete the puzzle. So if
yeah,
you're seeking after God, he's giving you the pieces of your puzzle. He giving you what you need so that you can know what direction you're going in. But we got a lot of people really just doing it on their own. So they running into a lot of dead ends, you know?
yeah. Wow. That was good. That definitely was good. What's
Don't hype me up, man. Don't get me
no,
started.
it was definitely. What's a moment of time or a message that you shared or helped someone with, and you know that it impacted their life?
um I'll say when I first really started allowing God to use me, my first impactful message that I felt was impactful was when I opened up and talked about having HSV1, so herpes type 1. And I've had it for 20 years. And Herpes type 1 and herpes type 2, they're totally different, just to the people who are watching, but herpes type 1 can easily turn into herpes type 2. Just to throw that out there. So when I opened up about living with HSV1, oh my God, the impact that it made on the internet was crazy. I had all of these people hitting me up, asking me questions, really just saying thank you, because I felt this way about myself and I see somebody talking about it and like living in it. What they don't know is I opened up about HSV1 because I needed to push past like the fear of having a breakout during this particular time. And I don't know what made me actually just record and talk about how I got it and, being a kid and stuff like that with it. But I was so low at that moment when I recorded that video, and to see how many lives it changed, I was like, oh man, God just used a very vulnerable situation that I'm dealing with to show me that it's okay, and promise I'm going to use this. I know you hate this. I know you hate having these breakouts. I know this, but I'm going to use this for something. And when I put the video out and I saw, how big it got and stuff like that, I'm like, wow, all things are working for my good.
Yeah.
So that's in the beginning stages. Now that I talk a lot about, parenting and stuff like that, I think those videos are impactful because we're living in a world where people don't like their parents.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad. Sometimes I feel bad for my posture towards my parents when I see how many parents are hurting behind their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like not talking to them and stuff. All
Yeah.
parents are not bad. So I think, yeah, parenting and HSV1, those videos help people a lot. I think it makes them feel good that someone is speaking positively towards it,
Yeah.
you know?
And how do you stay grounded? Like, what do you do to make sure that you are where you need it to be so you can continue to pour into people because you have a lot going on and you do so much? How do you stay grounded and charged up?
I'm real big on boundaries and self-care, so I take really good care of myself. I spend a lot of time by myself. I like to read, I like to study. I don't like entertainment at all. So, and when I say entertainment, I don't do a lot of mindless scrolling. I don't watch a lot of TV. If I do watch TV, is very specific. Like I love watching Sanford and Son, The Golden Girls, 227, stuff that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because what they putting out now, every other scene is sex. It's so much like LGBTQ activity going on. I'm like, man, I can't put myself in a position to be thinking like that. So, and it's a lot of other stuff that's just being promoted right now. I
Yeah.
just really try to minimize entertainment, and I minimize the people that I spend a lot of time with. I love being by myself. I have animals, and I'm a very quiet person.
Yeah.
And to stay grounded is to just have a routine where boundaries exist. I work out, I don't need a group to do anything, and I don't like group activities. So the less how do I want to say this? When you don't subject yourself to distractions, and distractions are like people. If you
Yeah.
hanging out with 10 people every day, man, that's 10 different spirits you done put yourself in contact with. You gotta have a core group. If you need to hang out with somebody just because we need companionship, make sure you and that person equally yoked. So they not throwing you off. So self-care is real. And I believe in it. And I believe in saying no,
Yeah.
you know.
What would be your advice to young women that's boldly trying to walk with God, but maybe being persuaded, sometimes how guys want to get in the way and cause a distraction, want you for the wrong reasons and you trying to walk and they want to act like they're trying to walk just to get in good or to even be careful to not make they walk fall off because of a guy, being attracted or trying to talk to a young lady for the wrong reasons and take her off of what she's doing.
Okay. So I think those were two questions, right?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, so the first question is, what advice would I give to young girls who,
are trying to walk boldly for God.
boom, let's stop right there. If you really trying to walk boldly for God, you need to change your behavior. Like, stop getting on the internet shaking your, stop doing weird stuff. And then when people go to your profile, you say, Jesus Christ. You know, people having a bio, Jesus Christ, woman of God. How? You feel me? Like, how can you say that? Woman of God. All the little phrases that people like to say when they want people to think that they are true followers, and then their behavior is total opposite. You need to change your behavior, young girls and old girls. You get what I'm saying? Because these young girls acting like this because older women are acting like this.
Yeah.
So it's a domino effect. Look at who they looking up to. And the enemy is so creative. He's so crafty, you know, and he's attacking the younger generation. And he's always attacked the younger generation. He wants to get the premature mind. He wants to get the immature mind, the underdeveloped mind. And he wants it to be caught up on entertainment, like what makes them feel good, colors. And I'm kind of going, when I say colors, it's like when you have kids, you keep them entertained by a whole lot of colors. That same behavior, it sticks with them. So they're attracted to things that are like colorful and fast moving. And then you have the older women who are supposed to be mentors and role models. They doing a lot of weird stuff. So it's like, oh, if such and such got to this place and this was she doing on the internet, let me do this. Yeah. So young girls, you really need to pick you a mentor and make it make sense. For example, when I was a young girl, my mentor was Sierra. I loved Sierra. That's who I watched. And when you think about how, look at Sierra right now today. She had her little wilderness season when she was kind of, dating like the wrong person or something like that. We ain't gonna put it all on them, but everybody has been in the wilderness before. But Sierra, when I used to watch her music videos and stuff like that, even the stuff she used to talk about, it wasn't so explicit. She was like that cool girl next door. It wasn't so sexual. So like, young girls, you need to watch. You need to pay attention to who you watching. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna name drop nobody either, because y'all know who out here putting out this crazy stuff. Yeah. Women are cursing. They naked online. They're doing a lot of immoral stuff online. And it's gonna be very difficult for the younger generation to really find their way, because it's a reason that you should have mentors. There's a reason that you have teachers. There's a reason that people are attracted to other people. That's the circle of life. So older women, y'all need to think about, hey, somebody looking up to me. You might not even know who it is, but you're responsible for producing good fruit. Yeah. And that's an internal thing. So yeah, young girls, y'all got to stop doing weird stuff on the internet and then saying that you believe in God, because it don't make sense. I used to do it. I used to say I believe in God, but then I was like a lesbian. You don't believe in God? Yeah. What? You got to make it make sense. Yeah.
And that's another reason too. You're authentic, like you're real. You don't sugarcoat nothing. A lot of times people talk about what other people would be doing, but you always bring it back to self. You always use an example and allow people to see your transformation, your growth, and what God has done, through you in your life. And even some things, if it's still a struggle, you say, well, shoot, that's what sticks out to me in your content, and when I hear you speak, and when you ministering, and that's a good thing too.
Man, I'm so glad you noticed that, because you open up your phone right now, is somebody on there talking about somebody else. Mm-hmm. What about you though? Like, you mean to tell me you can't make content about you? You gotta you on the internet gossiping about other people. Yeah. Or talking about other people. You always gotta bring it back home, because that's how you really reach people. You can't reach people trying to tell somebody else's story, trying to put your opinion on somebody else's life. Put it on your life. Like when I was doing weird stuff on the internet, like turning around, taking the little butt pictures and twerking and, you know what I'm saying, listening to what I was listening to and stuff like that, it was because of what I saw. And it was because of what my brain was. My brain wasn't in a place to understand that I could do something different to get to whatever success is.
Yeah.
You know, so man, if you go walk bold in your faith, make it make sense.
Yeah,
If you,
definitely.
when I wasn't talking to my parents and stuff like that, how you believe in God though? What you talking about? You're not even keeping his commandments. You're not even honoring the position that your mom and dad hold. And so it's like, man, you lying, promise. You don't believe in God. You believe in you. You know, you just got to get real with yourself on that. And when you get real, when you really say it out loud, I'm telling you, you're going to start feeling convicted about it. So yeah, be open for conviction, young girls.
Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Oh man, first thing to come to my mind. This advice was not directly given to me. I was just in the room, and I'm a people watcher because I like to learn. So I'm the type of person that I'm quiet. I only speak when spoken to. Outside of hey and bye because you're supposed to just have good manners.
Yeah.
But I was in the room and this lady, actually my aunt, what I'm talking about this lady, my aunt was telling my brothers and my cousin, I just call all of them my brothers because we grew up together. She looked at them. I can't remember why she said it, but she said, the stuff you do as a young man, you're going to have to pay for it as an old man.
Mm.
She ain't say that to me. She ain't say it to me. I was just in there listening, and it made me think, man, whatever you do when you're young is coming back. It's
Yeah.
coming back. You know, so I don't know. I think she was maybe trying to give an example of who cares? Who cares what she was talking about? But what she said made so much sense, and it sticks with me every day. When I wake up, I'm like, all right, if I decide not to do this, this gonna catch up with me. If I decide to do this, this is going to catch up with me. That statement don't have to be a bad statement. You know,
Yeah.
it could be a good statement. You could really be a good young, you know, so good fruits as a young man. And then boom, you get older and your lifestyle is different. Your life is different. People gonna be like, oh wow, you 70 years old and you got this, or you able to move around like this. Yeah, because I didn't drink myself to death when I was in my 20s. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't smoke myself to death up until the doctor told me that if I don't stop, I'm gonna die. So it's like your lifestyle as a young person is going to be the reflection of who you are as an older person. And that don't have to be, I mentioned liquor and smoking. That could be anything, man.
Yeah.
That could be anything. You want to sit up and just eat all day? You go pay for it, big dog. You go get your payday on it. You go get your payday on it. If you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to do certain stuff, you don't want to work out, you don't want to honor your mother and father, you don't want to do just things that you know you should do. Payday coming.
Yeah. It seems simple, but it really ain't.
Nah. What part?
No, I mean it seemed like it's difficult, but it really ain't, I should say. My bad.
Just what, doing the right thing?
Yeah. It seemed like,
Yeah.
people more people would do it, but it's a thing. What you're saying is definitely true.
So, you know, I think people don't take their youthfulness seriously because it's not promoted like that. People say you only live once, you know, have your fun in your 20s. What? What? Your 20s are like the most important part of your life.
Yeah.
Because once you get out of your 20s, and I'm not out of my 20s yet, I got a little more time in this thing. But once you out of your 20s, man, you go feel different. And you go still be doing the same thing that you've been doing since you was a teenager. So you can't just have that you only live once mindset. What do you mean, man? You need to really think about what you're doing with your life.
Yeah.
Think about how it's going to affect you and your children. Point blank, period. Yeah.
Yeah. What's next for you? Any projects, goals that you're currently working on? Anything that you got that you're involved in?
You know, I'm always working on some, you know. The Proverbs 31 woman, she was a working woman.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and throw that out there. I got some music and stuff I'm about to start releasing. I like music. I'm creative. I like writing lyrics. I like singing, spoken word, rapping, little stuff like that. So I'm not even gonna say little stuff because I think my stuff is dope. So I got some music I'm about to start dropping. Of course, I started my podcast on YouTube. I got some digital products I'm dropping in April. So really, I'm always open to God putting a new idea in my head. You know, so yeah, right now I got some music about to drop, so y'all stay tuned. And with the music, I want to speak on that. I, I've dealt with a lot of doubt with music because it don't really seem like they want to see nobody saying nothing other than like golly. And I hate to say it, but as a black woman, all I see them push is weird black women. Black women who are talking about the same thing. How to trick a dude, how to sell their body, how to get some money, how to be independent, how to abort their children, how to go to the club and get drunk. Like, that's all they talking about. So when I make my music, I'm like, man, I don't even know if it's enough people out here who go get it, who go get what I'm saying. But that's that doubt that I got to push past. Because I'm not saying I'm trying to be a music star. I'm just saying if you can make music, make it.
Yeah.
If you bury that gift, you're going against the will of God. So try to do everything. My focus is to try to do everything unto God. So if you're gonna make music, okay, yeah, you gotta kind of change your mindset so you won't make immoral music. God go bless it. If he gave you the idea, he go bless it. But you gotta do it his way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got next.
What do you like more, writing the music or performing it?
I was really big in theater as a young girl, really good at theater. I cannot necessarily say I've performed music since I was a kid, like teenager. So as an adult, I haven't been on a stage. I go to the studio and, put it on a track, but I haven't entered into that phase yet. So I can't really say, but I think when that time comes, I'm going to be able to produce good fruit because when I say you only got two choices, sink or swim, I'm always go swim.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. I'm not a underachiever at all. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the training I need. I'm gonna practice. I'm not gonna be mediocre in that area. So I can't really say that performing is something I enjoy yet because I haven't done it. But I enjoy going to the studio, hearing myself put those lyrics together, and you know, I enjoy listening to my music because it's not vulgar. It's something you could listen to with your kids in the car. It's something that glorifies, like I make songs about like men, but I'm not talking bad about y'all. You know, I'm describing like a man of God. I'm just trying to say good things about people and also about myself because it's so much negativity that's being pushed through the radio. So yeah, writing the lyrics is something that I like doing because that's all I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and then we close. I'll get you up out of here.
Okay.
You can pick one or the other. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Public speaking or writing,
Oh, I can only pick one.
or you can pick both if you want to. One or the other.
Dang, I love both, but I love public speaking. I love public speaking, and I can't wait. I can't wait until God opens up more doors for me to do that. When I
Yeah.
when I have a crowd or just people in the room, it don't have to be a crowd. I can connect with them because I can feel what's going on in the room. Like how if we was, in the same room with this podcast, I think the vibe would be real cool because I can feel the energy.
Yeah.
The over the phone thing is kind of weird. I hadn't settled because I can't feel the energy. I'm like that person. I'm an energy person. I know how to change the energy in the room. I know how to get the energy in the room going. And that's not something you could really directly feel when Zoom or
Yeah.
live or something like that. So public speaking, if I had to pick one, public speaking, but I'm a big writer. Big writer. I write everything down. I'm a Habakkuk 2 and 2 type girl. Write it down, make it plain.
Like a
That's me.
plan. Reading a book or listening to a podcast.
I love reading. I love reading, but I also love listening to podcasts. I don't like long podcasts, no more than about 20 to 22 minutes. Um, so I do both, and that's something that's in my day-to-day routine. I'm not going to go to sleep without reading, and I'm not going to go throughout my day without listening to a podcast or a sermon. More so sermons, for me.
Yeah. Spontaneous adventure or well-planned trip.
Well-planned trip. Well-planned trip. I don't like to do anything spontaneous. Um, but I don't know, maybe I should try to work on that.
Spontaneous worship. Aha.
Spontaneous worship. True, true, true. Yeah.
Faith-based conference or intimate small group discussions.
You said what?
Faith-based conference or a small intimate group discussion.
When you say intimate, I know you're not talking sexual. So what do you mean by intimate?
I like just a small, maybe like 12 people, small group discussion, or a conference that maybe have a guest speaker that's hundreds of people.
I don't like big crowds at all. I don't like big crowds at all. I love a small intimate group. I love a small group setting. But I don't want to. I like a conference too, but if I had to choose, it'll be a small group. I think you get more done. It's a small group.
Worship music or motivational speeches.
Both. Man, my mom got me on this motivational speaking thing too. When I was young, she used to sow seeds in me because we used to always listen to Les Brown. He's one of my mentors and one of my online mentors. See, you don't have to physically know the person to have the mentor, by the way. He's one of my mentors. And my mom used to always play his material when I was a young girl. And my mom is naturally a positive person, a motivating type person. So I listen to motivational speeches and speakers, and I also listen to worship music.
Yeah.
Probably equally. You want me to be honest?
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Dang, I love tea too, but coffee. If I had to pick,
Yeah.
it's coffee because coffee is something that I enjoy drinking every day. If I'm battling with something, maybe coming down with a cold, of course, I have all these tea remedies that I like to pull out because you really don't want to drink coffee when you're kind of getting sick.
Yeah.
So, but if I had to pick, I'm a coffee girl for sure.
Yeah. Journaling your thoughts or speaking them out loud.
Write it down. Write it down. But talking out loud also helps you.
Yeah.
So if you have someone you can talk to and just let them listen, you don't need advice. Just let me say this out loud so I can hear it. That's good. But writing it down is just, I will always recommend writing. I'm a big journal advocate. My mom also put that in me. She used to always buy me journals. She used to always tell me write stuff down. She writes stuff down. So, yep, journaling.
Leading by example or leading through words.
Oh, leading by example. What? Don't talk about it. Be about it. What you talking about? Leading by example. That's always been me. That's always been me. Especially being the oldest in my family. That characteristic was established just being the oldest sibling. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell them kids to do nothing that I wasn't doing. I couldn't tell them to stop cussing if I'm around there cussing. I couldn't tell them to chill out if I ain't. So just from a young girl, I always knew I'm in this position. I'm in this leadership position. God allowed me to be born first for a reason. I got to be about that action. I don't have time. I can't play around. Somebody watching me.
Yeah.
So yeah, leading by example.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And last thing, whatever comes on your heart, can you speak words of encouragement to the youth?
Words of encouragement to the youth. Get a relationship with Jesus, man. Like, I know y'all think it's just for play, But when you become an adult, you go deal with some adult stuff. And nothing is going to be able to get you through the stuff that you're going to experience as an adult. And don't stray away from your parents. I know a lot of y'all probably think you know more than your mama, you know more than your daddy. And I ain't saying you don't. But I'm saying stay in a posture where you kind of listening to what they saying, because your mom and daddy really do know. Like, stop trying to be grown so fast. Like, one of the things my mom used to always say, you can wait to do that. Promise, you can wait to get a tattoo. You can wait to get your nose pierced. I know y'all think it's that simple, but what she was pushing out was waiting. Wait until the appropriate time to do some of this stuff. So young folks, y'all just got to stop moving so fast. Stop jumping on all these trends. These grown folks doing these trends. You 15, 16, 17 years old, you don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be posting that. You don't need to be wearing that. You don't need to be saying that. You don't need to be listening to that. You ain't ready. You don't need to be smoking that. So you don't need to be drinking that. It's so many things that you don't need to do right now as a teenager, young college student. And I just say, get that vertical relationship with God. Get baptized in Jesus' name. A lot of y'all hadn't even got baptized right. And stop. If you got baptized as a kid, it don't mean nothing to the kingdom. When you become an adult, get a relationship with Jesus Christ. Get baptized in Jesus' name, and your life is going to change. And I always said, I feel like I got off when I started talking about baptism, but it's real. It's real. You want to see a magic trick? Get baptized in the name of Jesus Christ for the remission of your sins. Watch it change.
Yeah.
Watch it change. Oh, your girl just went off with that. I feel like God, you pleased with me. He pleased with me for saying that, because that's the thing that the youth is missing. They're missing God. They believe in everything but Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We thank you.
That was cool.
We thank you. I pray that God continue to give you favor. I pray that He continue to open up doors, that He put you around the people that's needed, that He put you in the spaces that's needed as well, and He continue to give you the boldness, the courage, the confidence to be able to speak, teach the gospel, and to tell the truth, and to be able to know that if God is for us, who can be against us? And God is definitely before you. So continue to walk in your purpose on purpose.
Hey, way to speak life into me. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only is Promise Israel.
Hey, look, and keep doing what you're doing. Like, don't stop.